Okay, today we're looking at politics. So, there are some collocations here and a few phrasal verbs, like always. So, the government can bring in new laws. Another word for new laws is new legislation. The new legislation could be about tax concessions, which just means allowing certain individuals or certain companies, allowing them to pay less tax. If you cut or reduce or slash something, it means that you reduce it, you cut it. So if you cut the defence budget, you reduce the amount of money you spend on defence. If you do the opposite, if you raise or increase taxes, or you raise or increase interest rates are the central bank rates, the base rate, which is charged on any money which is lent by the banks. So you could raise those interest rates, or you could reduce them, you could slash them, you could halve them or double them. Okay, you can ease or loosen monetary policy, or you can do the opposite. You can tighten monetary policy. This usually means loosening the regulations involved in monetary policy. So if you loosen the regulations, maybe you allow more money to be spread. Okay, if you vote for a candidate, that's what it means. It means you elect a candidate, you choose that candidate. So the candidate is the person who you vote for, and you can do it in a general election, which in the UK means the big election where we choose the main parties that go to, that represent us in Parliament. There are also by-elections. Now, this is when only one constituency is involved. A constituency is an area of England which is considered to be represented by one seat in Parliament, and so this area is split up into different constituencies, and a by-election is when one constituency just has an election. Maybe the previous candidate or the previous MP in that constituency, maybe the MP died and there needs to be another one elected, and so then we have an election just in that constituency. MP, it means Member of Parliament. So it means you sit in Parliament and represent the people in your constituency. They're called your constituents, in fact. Constituents, it means the people who live in your constituency. Okay, there's also a referendum, which you probably already know means when the public votes on one particular policy or one particular issue. Maybe the referendum could be about whether you're going to join or leave the European Union, something like that. Okay, if you declare independence, it means that you claim that you are independent from the union which you used to be a member of. If you declare war, well, I think it's clear this just collocates well with declare independence, declare war, or you can even declare a ceasefire if you are talking about when two warring sides, decide not to have any more hostilities to stop the violence. Okay, seize is the verb which collocates well with power. If you seize power, it means you take power. Okay, with these words we often use the phrasal verb breaks out. Okay, violence breaks out, war breaks out, disease breaks out, even hostilities, we can say, hostilities break out. So it's often used for these negative things which cause a lot of pain and suffering. We've also got some more here. We've got bring down a dictator, overthrow a dictator, topple the regime. All of these words obviously mean get rid of the authorities of that country, maybe in a military coup, which is when the military take over. It could be your own military, it could be the military of another country perhaps, but it's when the military takes over. We also call this kind of thing a rebellion. A rebellion is when any kind of power fights against the authorities. Okay, abolish the monarchy means get rid of it. You can also abolish other things, but you abolish the monarchy, you get rid of the monarchy. If you abolish capital punishment, you get rid of the death sentence. But you can also restore the monarchy. If maybe you've already got rid of the monarchy, you could restore it. You could put it back in its place. Okay, you can enter into negotiations. You can launch negotiations. They collocate very well. You can broker a ceasefire, which means arrange a ceasefire. Broker an agreement means reach an agreement. It's kind of like settling a dispute. Very similar. If you bow to pressure, it means you've been put under a lot of pressure, maybe from the public, maybe from the electorate, and in the end you bow to pressure. Maybe you have an inquiry or something like that into whatever scandal it is that's currently under investigation. So you bow to pressure and have an inquiry. You then issue a statement in order to declare your position about this particular scandal. Okay, if you decline to comment, you say no comment. You decline to comment. You don't want to comment. On the other hand, you may choose to clarify your position, and this means you make clear what your position is. Maybe you mislead the electorate. That means you mislead the people who are voting for you, your constituents. Mislead means, make them misunderstand something. And if you leak a story to the press, that means you make sure that the newspapers, the press, find out about something so that they write about it and so that the story breaks out. You could even say the story breaks out here. So the story gets out and people read what you want them to read. Okay, if someone runs for president or runs for parliament, it means they're a candidate. Okay, and you say he is running for president. If your party stand for lower taxes, it means they support the idea, the policy of lower taxes. Another very good word there, policy. They support the policy of lower taxes. They stand for lower taxes. They stand for decreased immigration, whatever. If you stand up for someone, you defend that person, or you can even defend a group. You can stand up for the poor. You can stand up for any particular minority or group or victim that you choose. Okay, if you stand down as or step down as, it means you resign from your position. So maybe you stand down as Chancellor of the Exchequer, something like that. That's the position in England who organises, who sorts out the budget. So if you stand down as a position, it means you resign. Now we've got also one more thing, objective reporting and biased reporting. Objective means neutral. Biased means not neutral. If there's biased reporting, then the journalists, maybe they don't even know it, but the journalists are only reporting one side of the story. They're not being objective. And lastly, in England we have 4 parties nowadays, 4 main parties. I suppose there's Greens also here. I'm sorry if anyone's a Green supporter and I've missed them out. But we've got Conservative, who are also known as the Tories, and they are right-wing. Right-wing just means that they're interested generally, in lower taxes and less, but also lower social services and this kind of thing, lower social benefits, less social benefits. Labour are the opposite. Labour, they are left-wing, and they obviously are in favour of higher taxes, but more public spending, more spending on hospitals. Well, supposedly, this is the general idea anyway, and this is what we mean by right-wing and left-wing, but obviously it changes each year. Liberal Democrats are supposed to be in the centre, somewhere between left-wing and right-wing. I don't like them personally, but some people do. And the party which has become popular recently, who I have the rosette of on my jumper, this is the United Kingdom Independence Party, and they've become popular especially recently as people have become disappointed with the European Union and with several policies in the UK. Anyway, please ask questions under the video if there's anything that you don't understand.